First, yes. You told yourself you would be home by midnight, and it is almost 2. The bathroom at this party is too bright, and there are 3 of you crammed against the sink. Someone you half know taps a small bag against the back of his hand and holds it out without bothering to make it a question. You have said no in rooms exactly like this for years, quietly proud of how easily the word came. Tonight the word does not arrive. You lean down, and about 30 seconds later the whole room sharpens until every edge in it looks interesting. You walk back out, and the music is better, and your own voice is better, and you are funnier than you can remember being. You talk to people you would normally avoid, and they seem to enjoy you, and that lands like proof of something you needed proven. The night that should have ended hours ago keeps inventing reasons to keep going. You stay until the windows turn gray, and somebody in the kitchen starts making coffee for whoever is left. Driving home in the early light, you wait for the guilt to show up, and it never does. What shows up instead is a small, quiet thought that moves through you and is gone before you can look straight at it. You want to feel that again. You file it somewhere you will not have to deal with it, and you sleep through most of the next day. When you wake, your head is hollow and your mood is flat and gray, but by evening you feel almost normal, and you decide that it was only one night. Stage 2, the rules. By the time it has happened a handful more times, you have quietly built yourself a set of rules. Only on weekends, never on your own, never on a weeknight, and never more than a little between friends. You recite them to yourself like a careful, responsible adult, and you believe every one of them, because so far every one of them is true. A gram split 3 ways on a Saturday is not what addiction looks like. Millions of people do the same thing and still get up for work on the Monday. You do get up for work on the Monday. You also start to notice, without ever admitting that you have noticed, that the Mondays feel gray now in a way they did not used to. The whole week turns into something you get through rather than something you live. By Wednesday, you are already thinking about the weekend, and the weekend has quietly become the only real day in it. There is almost always a drink in your hand when it starts, and the two things go together so naturally that you stop seeing them as separate. There is a key in your pocket now that you check for without deciding to. On every night out, there is a moment where you and the same 2 people drift toward the bathroom within the same 5 minutes, and the table you left never asks where the 3 of you went. You come back louder and surer of yourself, and you are usually the one who buys the next round. You tell yourself the rules are holding fine. You could stop any weekend you chose to. You simply have not chosen to yet. Stage 3, the gray in between. The first weeknight does not feel like a line being crossed. It feels like a reasonable exception. A genuinely terrible day at work, a friend who happens to have some, the word just for the 3rd time that month. The evening that should have been unbearable turns survivable instead, and your body files that away and offers it back the next time a day goes wrong. Then there is a second weeknight, and then a Thursday, and the rule rewrites itself into never 2 nights in a row, which also does not survive the month. You start buying your own instead of waiting for somebody to share, partly because it is easier and partly because then it belongs to you. The friends you see the most are the ones who use, and the friends who do not use you somehow see less and less, and none of it is a decision you can remember making. Every Sunday you promise yourself that this was the last big weekend, and every Sunday you mean it completely. Work starts slipping at the edges where nobody is looking too hard. You are still sharp in the moments you have to be, but the hours in between go thin and unreliable. You call in sick on mornings that are really just recovery, and you tell your manager you have been dealing with some personal things lately. He nods and lets it go, the way people let small lies go. You have stopped counting what you spend because counting it would force you to look at it, and you have become very good at not looking.